Very good morning, all. Thanks for joining. Hello, good morning, all. Can you please confirm? I'm audible.
Good morning,
Good morning.
Rajesh.
Yes.
Yes, Rajesh,
Thank
good
you.
morning.
Good morning. Thank you. So let's continue the topic. So everybody knows about now what is meaning of Amazon EC2, right? Now everybody knows about what is Amazon EC2. So Amazon EC2 is a virtualization technology which will help us to create virtual machines on the cloud environment. Okay, so guys, we able to create it directly one of the server, a specified server on Amazon EC2. Is this possible? A specific ESX server we are targeting, sorry, specific hypervisor we are targeting to create a instance from Amazon EC2. Is this possible? Not
No.
possible because it's a free pool. Wherever it is possible, the instance will get created. That instance we will use it. That you know very well. That you know very well. Suppose if this server is down, maybe this server is down. What about these instances? If the physical server is down on the cloud data center, what will happen about the instances?
I think they have already backed up instances. I
No,
mean,
no,
they
no.
should
Leave
come
about
out.
the backup. Leave about the backup. Leave about the backup. What is the condition of the instances?
If
Instance
the
also down, right?
instance, yeah, instance also down because the machine
Instance
is
is
down,
also
there's
down.
nothing down.
Yeah, the parent is down, the child machine is also down. So the physical server is down, the physical hypervisor is down, virtual machine is also down. Okay, perfect. So this concept everyone know about it. So virtualization is a key role playing in the cloud computing technology. Virtualization technology is playing a key role in the cloud computing technology. But this technology, okay, even if you need a install any application, there's sufficient amount of space, sufficient amount of operating system, CPU, okay, everything is needed. Storage also needed. So even companies are managing these instances from the cloud. They're thinking that is a huge amount of money they'll be spending to managing the environment. So the next concept is there any other technology nowadays? Okay, is there any other technology nowadays more than virtualization technologies available? That means the latest trending technologies available.
Docker,
Anyone
Kubernetes,
guesses?
Docker, Kubernetes,
Exactly, exactly. So the service name called containerization. The service name called containerization. The technology called containerization. Okay. So this is virtualization technology. This is virtualization technology. And this is the next generation is containerization technology. So what is meaning of containerization technology that we need to understand. Okay, what is meaning of containerization technology? As usual, as usual, we have a physical host is available. As usual, we have a physical host is available. This is a physical host. Physical host means what?
Physical server.
Correct. Physical server. The physical server is available. So either this is a physical server or maybe a virtual machine, no matter what. So this is a server is available. So inside that, we have a
কালকে দিয়ে আমার জন্য
Docker.
আর কোনো বার্তা পাকাবো না, আমি যা আছে না
Can you
ফ্রিতে
please
বাইক
go on
করে
mute?
অল্প অল্প
Can you
খামো মানে
please?
ওইটা একটু চিকেন।
So Docker server is there. Okay. There is a server name called Docker server. Okay. So this Docker server is running inside the computer. The spelling is wrong. The Docker server is running inside the server. So basically, this is a Docker server or maybe Docker daemon services will be running here. So this will be running here. Okay. In this particular Docker daemon services or Docker server, okay, we have a Docker client. Docker client or maybe CLI is available to manage the services. Docker client or Docker CLI is available to manage the services. So the Docker server, it manages the volumes. Okay. It manages the volumes. It manages the images. It manages the containers. And it manages the networks. It manages the networks. So a single Docker server can handle volumes, images, containers, networks. So previous stage also, the hypervisor can handle storage, network, operating systems, and network. So similar way, even containerization also is running fine. Containers also, it is running fine. Okay, then what's the difference it is? Then what's the difference? More or similar, right? Most of the concepts are similar. Virtual machine and a Docker. Then what's the difference it is? Huh? So what is the difference it is? That we need to understand today. So mainly this images means the operating system. The images means these are the operating systems. They created in small piece of file. It stores the a small amount of operating system. It's a minute operating system and application will be running here and all your configurations, everything running in this image. Container is nothing but the environment which will create to run these images as a server. So the containers is nothing but which will run inside the Docker engine or maybe Docker server. This images, okay, this images will run on the container. Understand? So finally, the images will run on the top of containers by using the Docker host server, a Docker server. And managing this container and images volume network. Okay. So by using the Docker CLI, Docker CLI. But how the Docker CLI will interact with the Docker server or Docker daemon is there is a service between, okay, there is a service between, okay, there is a service between Docker CLI and a Docker demand server, which is called REST API. Okay, application programming interface. REST API is there. By using that, we are getting communicated. This is the first layer, second layer, and third layer.
Rajesh, I have a quick question about this. The CLI, I understand about the REST API, but can you just a little give me an example of it like you do normally?
About the REST API.
Yeah, REST API about with the Docker is I know it's a CLI. I mean, I'm just trying to understand with the example with the Docker with the REST API connection.
Okay, let's give me some example.
Please, thank you.
So let's take a car. Okay, car has an engine. So engine will move based on your giving the gear. Okay, first gear, second gear, third gear, fourth gear. Then engine will get that much of speed. Maybe gear number one. So gear one up to 10 kilometer speed. Gear two 20 kilometer speed. Gear three 30 kilometers. Gear four 40 kilometers. Gear five. Okay, above 50 kilometers. This is a structure, right? So how the gear once we are shifting to one, the engine will move to up to 10 kilometers with a good torque. Between the gear rod and the engine, there's a gearbox they'll be inserted. The gearbox will give that information to the engine. Hey, he was given the gear number one. So only you need to this much speed only you need to run it. Don't go for beyond that. Even if you press accelerator, it will not go more than 10 kilometers or maybe more than 15 kilometers. Even if you're giving that, it will give sound, but it will not go moving more than 20 kilometers like that. Because That much of power only they'll giving. And if you gear number two, okay, given gear number two, then you can go up to 20 kilometers to 25 kilometer speed. So the gearbox is there. The connectivity between the gear rod, which you are sitting inside the car, and the gear engine maybe front side of your car, that will get connected. Same way, you are a AWS or maybe you are a Docker engineer. So you are trying to creating the images, creating the networks, creating the volumes through CLI. There's a command line interface in a client place that you are telling to the Docker with the help of this plugin. This will indicating to, okay, Docker server, hey, my engineer is asking to create a volume. My engineer is asking to create a network. My engineer is asking to display the images. My engineer is asking to display the containers. Everything we will be pass the controls to REST API, and REST API will be talks to this server. And similar way, reverse also. Okay. Similar way, reverse response. Are you clear? This is
Yes,
a relation
that's
between this server.
making better sense.
Hmm.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome.
Rajesh, is this Docker CLI uh, Linux based or?
Docker CLI. Good question. So basically, complete Docker is Linux only, but you can install it on Windows machine and Linux machine also. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Next question is. Next question. Very important question is. Uh, Virtualization versus containerization. Huh? Virtualization versus containerization. We can understand. So the left side is virtualization is there. Infrastructure. So infrastructure means I already told you what is meaning of infrastructure. What is meaning of infrastructure?
We
The
build the
physical
machines.
environment, like in servers, storage, network, everything. So in containerization also they are using infrastructure. Even in hypervisor also you are using. In virtualizations we are using it. So the mainly that after the infrastructure, we are installing a piece of operating system. Okay, piece of operating system we are installing. Okay, this is a host OS, host operating system we are installing. And here also we are installing host operating system. host a operating system. Then next, on the top, we are installing hypervisor. And here we are installing Docker engine. So on the hypervisor, we directly creating virtual machines. We directly creating VMs, virtual machines. So here we are installing guest operating system. So here host operating system, right? Whatever the virtual machines we are creating, that is a guest operating system we are installing. Okay. So based on that guest operating system, the binary files and library files will running here. Binaries and libraries will be running here. On the top, we are running our applications, apps. So maybe application one like this. So this is entire box. This is called virtual machines. So like this. Okay, like this, we are creating multiple virtual machines we are managing in our environment. So this we called as virtual machines. These two things are virtual machines.
Rajesh, I have one doubt, Rajesh.
Yes.
Can you give me the real-time example for the host OS and guest OS for the
Definitely.
difference between?
Definitely. 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 We're taking the direct physical server. First of all, the infrastructure means a physical server, hardware we are taking. Huh? Physical server we are taking. On the top operating system we are installing any operating system. Okay, like Windows and Linux, we are installing. On the top, we are installing hypervisor. So like a virtual PC or VMware workstation. Huh? These are the software we will installing. After that, the machine will become as a virtualization environment is ready. After that, we are creating virtual machines. Even this virtual machine, I can install Windows machine or maybe Linux machines, no matter what. The difference, I'll tell you. So tomorrow is my birthday. I'm inviting you to my house. Okay. You are my guest. I'm your host. Okay. You are my guest. I'm your host. Both are human beings. Both are human beings. But in that situation, in that occasion, I'm your host. I invited you. You are my guest. Same way, in this scenario, here the host operating system. Okay. Here the host operating system is a Windows or Linux, whatever it is. On the top, it is creating the, on the top, it is creating the virtual machines. So the on the top of hypervisor, it is creating virtual machine. Even this is also operating system only. So we'll be differentiating. This is a guest OS. So on the top of physical machine, it is creating it. So already OS is there. We called as guest OS. So like that, we have a multiple guest OS we can create in virtual machine. On the top, based on the operating system, binary files, library files will running, and we can run applications. So now this is server 1 and this is server 2. So like that, depends on the capacity of the server, I can create more virtual machines on this particular environment. This is called virtualization. Are you clear?
Yes, Rajesh.
Still any doubt?
Yeah, one more question. Mission server, both are same or is different?
Mission server. Can you please tell me where is it? Though
No, no,
this here is
just
that. Okay, virtual machine,
and server.
virtual machine and server. So
Both are same.
virtual machine is a physical or maybe is a top layer of the component. Like example, you're taking a laptop, okay? Maybe you're taking a desktop and that is your computer. On that, you are installing either client operating system or server operating system. That depends on you. So here, mostly we are installing the server operating system to build your application. Maybe this is a web server, maybe this is a database server like that. So virtual machine, it is nothing but it is a server and as well as the computer. But it is not a physical computer. It is a virtual computer, software computer, because of it is running on the top of hypervisor. But the host OS is physical computer because of it is directly running on the hardware layer. Hardware layer. So guys, this is actually type 2 hypervisor. Just give me a minute. Type 2 hypervisor. Come back. So this is a type 2 virtualization product. Okay, this is a type 2 model. Even type 1 model also is there. So type 1 model is, okay, very simple. I'll tell you. In type 1 hypervisor, in type 2 hypervisor, only the difference is, in type 1, there is no host operating system. Directly, the hypervisor will be running here on the physical machine. Okay. So this software's example is VMware ESXi, Nitro hypervisor, Zen hypervisor. These are the best examples. These are the best examples. Okay. On the top, the virtual machines are running. So here, first operating system you need to install, then hypervisor need to install. This is a type 2 hypervisors. This is a type 1 hypervisor. Okay, next question is, which type of hypervisors we are using in the real-time environment? For testing purpose, type 2. For production level, type 1. Most of the cases, type 1, very less cases, type 2. For small company, medium companies they can use it. But even nowadays, medium-based companies also they're moving to type 1. Compared to the performance, type 1 virtual machines have the more performance because the operating system directly contacts the physical hardware. Only one layer is there. But now the guest OS in the type 2 hypervisor, first they need to contact the hypervisor, then host OS, then hardware. So two layers we need to bypass to communicating to get the compute resources like RAM, CPU, storage. So little bit slow is there. Compare between the type 1 and type 2. So which one is best now? Type 1 is best or type 2 is best?
Type 1,
Type
because
1
there's a
best.
less latency and fast.
Exactly. Less latency and a better communication. Less latency and best communication. So I hope everyone is clear now. So type 1 hypervisors and type 2 hypervisors. Can you honestly tell me how many of you know this information already? Type 1 hypervisors and type 2 hypervisors. How many of you know already this concept you know very well? Can you please just raise your hand? Very good. One person. Good. Next, coming to this containerization. Okay. Containerization infrastructure is that host OS will be installing here. On the top, Docker engine is running. So on the Docker engine, so whatever the application, whatever the binary files are there, only it will run like this. Are you clear? There is no guest operating system in the Docker. So what you will achieve in this model? In case if you not install the guest OS on the virtual machines, okay, on the virtual machines, what you'll achieve? Can you not tell me? The management cost is reduced to install the operating system, managing that operating system, license cost, storage cost, everything is reduced. Yeah. And
Yes.
time taking process also very easy. Directly we can create the virtual machines without operating system. We can run the applications by using the binary files, but binary files where it will load from the host operating system they will be using and running here. But we should not call it as virtual machines. We can call it as containers. This model we called as containers. Guys, in virtualization technology, we called as virtual machines. Okay, virtual machines. And in the containerization technology, we call as containers. So this is one container. This is one container. Like that, multiple containers we can create. If you need a more virtual machines, you can create a more container. So now you understand what is meaning of containers. Yeah. Any other questions?
Rajesh, in container virtualization, now we
Mm.
don't have a guest OS, right?
Mhm.
So everything depends on the host OS.
Exactly. The Docker host server is there, right? The Docker
Uh,
host server operating system they will use, the kernel they will use. Okay. Then they'll directly create the libraries, binary files to run the applications.
so what about the redundancy? Because everything depends upon the Docker OS, right? Oh,
Mhm. Mhm. Good question. So we need to maintain multiple Docker host servers. We need to maintain multiple Docker host server for redundancy purpose.
okay. If we are maintaining multiple Docker host servers, does the configuration should be similar, right?
Similar, definitely similar. Definitely similar, brother. Yeah.
Okay. in that case,
Mhm,
don't you feel that for one Docker creation, for
mhm.
example, here we have to have two to three, or is there any kind of like 2:1 or 3:1 scenarios, like for one Docker engine we have to have 1:2 or something like that, a calculation or something, or
Definitely,
I can
definitely.
create
Everywhere
any
is a
number of.
calculation. Everywhere it is a calculation. Suppose I'll tell you. Suppose here is the one container is running. Application number one is running. Suppose this is a Tomcat application. This is a Docker host one.
Okay.
For redundancy purpose, okay, in case if this container is down, I can create one more container. Okay, this container is not working, another container will run. So multiple containers running on the single Docker host server.
Correct.
Suppose in your case, this host is down, what is your redundancy? That is your question, right? We'll
Yeah,
create
yes.
one more Docker engine from the another server. There we will create the same three and four applications. Even though if one and two is not working in case of the host failure, three and four will be running on another Docker host server. That way we will plan it. So initially I'll not creating that. Going forward, I will create that infrastructure.
Okay, one more thing. Right, if I go create another Docker engine, that is Docker engine with the host,
Mhm,
and keep it available without any binary libraries or app on that. So
mhm.
when I found that host Docker engine 1 is down, I just move all this app 1, app 2 to that Docker engine 2.
So that means you don't
Migrate.
want to migrate. You don't want to migrate, Girish.
No, I don't
So,
want to keep a multiple copy of app,
mhm,
same app, multiple copies, and binary libraries multiple copies.
mhm.
So I just I because I can directly migrate this app 1, app 2 to next host, right? Binary
That's what
to
I'm
that.
telling. You don't want to migrate, not required. See,
Okay.
in your case, this scenario, you can see this. Okay, both are containerization. This is application 3 and application 4. Okay. Hmm?
Yeah.
So between the applications, we will create the load balancers. Okay. We are creating the load balancer.
Okay.
That is a high level class. Okay. That is a
Okay.
high level class. There is a load balancer they created. Now in this case, application one is connected to the load balancer. Huh? Application two also getting to the load balancer. Hmm? Application four also getting connected to load balancer.
Yeah.
Now the scenario number one. Scenario number one. Suppose this is down. We have any problem?
No, AP2 is there, app 2.
So these are the users. App 2 is there, app 3 is there, app 4 is there.
Ah,
Okay.
correct.
The user able to communicate the load balancer. That means there's a URL www.zomato.com, flipkart.com, amazon.com.
Ah,
This is a
okay.
URL which is maintained by the load balancer.
Okay.
This is LB. Okay. LB means load balancer. LB URL will be there. With that LB URL, we are getting connected. Hmm.
Okay.
Suppose app 2 also getting disconnected because of the host is down. If host is down, Docker
App 2.
engine will be down
Yeah.
and infrastructure may be up, may not be up. I'm not sure. So ultimately, these two servers also will be down. So load balancer, it has um, a monitoring technology. If any request is not coming, if the server is not responding in a heartbeat network, it immediately tells that, okay, the server is down. I would only communicating to 3 and 4. It will route the traffic between the app3 and app4 server. That means these containers will respond to the users.
Yes,
But
I know.
again, so these servers are completely managing by Kubernetes. Okay, that is a
Oh,
high level structure.
yeah,
Again,
Kubernetes.
again, high level structure. Okay, so the Kubernetes is there. There is a Kubernetes. Okay, let's take it. Suppose Kubernetes is there. K8s. K8s means Kubernetes. Kubernetes maintain the cluster. Kubernetes cluster.
Okay.
So with the help of cluster, these hosts are created. We call it as pod. We can call it as pod. Suppose this host is down, immediately the cluster will tells to auto scaling. There's a feature is called auto scaling. Hey, immediately. So you two servers are down, right? Your two servers are down. Immediately, you can create a one more host immediately here.
Okay. Okay.
Immediately it will create, no matter what. Within 2 minutes of time, it will create. Now it's balancing your job.
Okay. Okay.
So
Got it.
this applications, once it is created automatically within 2 minutes, it will automatically connect it to the load balancer URL. You don't want to manually configure this to load balancer URL, automatically get connected. Automatically
Got it.
get.
Okay. Got
So
it.
this type of high level configurations, nowadays they'll be doing it. Okay. Nowadays they
Okay.
are configuring. So if only one Docker is creating, that is finally no. No. But whatever you're asking question is a very high level question. Absolutely everywhere we need to use it. So if the server is down, what is the redundancy? If application is down, what is the redundancy? If host is down, what is the redundancy? If Docker
So,
engine is not working, what is the redundancy? So everywhere we need to put the redundancy. Okay.
so the cluster, the Kubernetes will take care of
Ah,
this replication process if the load
definitely.
balance is
Even
missing.
even the cluster create, even the cluster will completely the Docker engine also will create. You don't want to do that.
Okay, with the Docker.
So
Okay,
normally without a Kubernetes, you need to create everything manually. But
correct, correct.
here there is a manifest file is there. Kubernetes manifest file. If you're writing the script, a YAML script, automatically Docker engine will create and the application will run automatically. So
So do
maybe you'll get some questions, Rajesh, where these applications will be stored. So we have a Docker hub is there. In internet, there is a Docker hub. Okay.
uh,
Docker hub is there.
okay,
So in the Docker hub, okay, there is a Docker hub, hub.docker.com. So in this, these images will be stored in the private location. So with the help of manifest file, the image will be copying and the Docker container will get created. So image will not copy, image will taking from the internet, or else we have a ECR is there. Elastic Kubernetes registry is there. ECR. Okay, this is an Amazon product.
okay,
ECR is there. Even ECR also we can store our images. We can take it.
okay,
That's
okay.
a way these containers are creating.
And see, okay, I understand the image is taken from the Docker Hub.
Mhm.
Uh, the configuration, like the processor, memory, uh, all these things, we have to write a script and keep it in the.
No, we don't want that. We don't want that. So everything we'll be creating in the cluster configuration, right? In the
Uh-huh.
cluster configuration, the settings automatically is there. It will create only the similar configuration.
Okay, okay, got
Ah,
it.
you don't want to do
Yes.
that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Rajesh, I have one question, Rajesh.
Yes, please.
Normally in the load balancer, the backend pools in virtualization VMs we are added, right? Backend
Mm,
pools. Like the
mm.
way in the containerization also we'll adding here.
Definitely, that's what we are creating this auto scaling and cluster creations, manifest file, whatever we agree creating, it will create it. So as I told you in auto scaling, if more people are getting connected, okay, so these containers are not supporting. Immediately, it checks the cluster health and it will create one more host here. So one more host means multiple containers will run.
Okay. The
Mm.
containers will be added in the backend pool. Like
Backend
how many
automatic.
containers we need to add.
Automatically it will go. You can give the +2, +4 like that. We can give the incremental value -2, -1 also you can give like that. So
Oh,
when users are increasing based on the minimum threshold, it will increase the number of containers. If
okay.
users are reducing below the threshold, it will remove the servers also to
Okay.
save your money. To save your
Okay.
money. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. The same way, in normal in real time, we are using the health probe.
Mm.
Here we is using the same concept here, health probe. Any container is not working properly, the performance wise. At the time, we will use for that one, health probe something.
So that's why I told, in load balancer URL, if the server is not responding, it takes that it is a orphaned machines and it stopped receiving the communication from this host, and whoever connecting still able to connect it. If user is reconnected, the session will not connected to the problematic server. The server will be connected to the free servers. Point number one. Point number two. Suppose if the servers are healthy or not healthy, how can you monitor? We can use a third-party monitor tools or in monitor tools. We can monitor the environment. Like we have a CloudWatch console is there. By using the CloudWatch console, we can set the threshold values and we can alert configuration to the mobile and email configurations. Any problem is there, we will get an email. So round the clock, our engineers will be supporting in the shift. They will check and they will find out the issue and they'll fix the problem.
Yes. Thank you, Rajesh.
No problem.
Here they will call us a cloud watcher, right?
CloudWatch.
Okay.
Guys, if you understand this concept here, so tomorrow I can set up the lab. Okay, tomorrow I can set up the lab. So this is a very high level environment. I need tomorrow completely so to set up the Docker environment. Then I'll slowly, I can help you to creating the images, container creations, Docker Hub account creation, image upload and download. Okay, these are the concepts will be there.
One small question, and maybe not related to this topic. Can I, Rajesh?
Better after the stopping the recording, maybe you can ask the question if you don't mind.
Okay. Okay. Sure. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So guys, any other questions related to the container and virtualization technology?
Yeah, Rajesh, have one more question. So apart from AWS CloudWatch, what are the monitoring tools to use to
We
monitor
have
the content?
monitoring tools available like Prometheus, Grafana, Nagios, EG
Yeah,
Innovation.
okay.
So many
Yeah,
tools are
same
there.
thing with the
Yeah, I will
Okay,
teach
thank
at least a minimum 2 tools I will teach in this batch. Don't worry.
Yeah, sure.
Already I'm teaching CloudWatch. Other than third-party tools also I'll teach.
Rajesh, we have in still is pending there at John Jenkins. The pending
No,
is
no, 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 no.
uh,
We can talk later, please.
okay,
This
okay,
video is completely I'll focusing on the Docker. Okay.
okay, okay, Rajesh. No
Docker
problem.
is very, very demanding technology. So if anything you can ask me, I can definitely, I can explain that. Later on, our class will discuss. Okay. Great. So tomorrow, everyone, please create your Docker. Okay. So after my class, don't watch any videos on YouTube and all. So just follow my instructions. We can create it. We will set up in the cloud environment only. So there we need to practice it. So slowly you need to build up your environment. That's very, very important. Okay. So very, very demanding technology in the market. Containerization with the Docker and Docker orchestration service with the Kubernetes is the best combination. In this combination, we are integrating of other CI/CD pipelines with the Jenkins. Okay. So very, very demanding in the market. So all together next 1 week, okay, next 1 week, okay, more than 1 week also, okay, we need to focusing on Docker, Kubernetes, Jenkins, these three products, we need to focus on it. Then only you're able to easily manage your interview. Okay, what type of any questions they'll be asking, you're able to answer it. These are the most of the questions are coming from this background only. And finally, we have a Ansible. Ansible also very, very powerful deployment tool. Even this is also, you'll get it. If these 4 tools are completed, parallelly you're learning Git, right? Git application you'll learn. If these 5 tools are readily available, you can prepare your resume, you can go for interview, no problem. If you have a basic knowledge on Amazon EC2, load balancing, and auto scaling features. If you have that information, then you can go. So 10 services we'll first focus, we will be completing in next 2 weeks. That is our target. Then everybody please go for an interview. Okay. So few people are joined late. I know that. So at least 31st, everybody please go for an interview. That is our target to starting up this batch. Unnecessary topics are there. Okay. But that we will discuss later slowly. So as of now, I explain in English. So most of the people are from Telugu background. Okay. Now I'm explaining the same concept in Telugu. Okay. So last 5 minutes I'm explaining in Telugu. So please understand. If you have any questions, you can clarify your doubts. మనకి వర్చువలైజేషన్ అంటే ఎలాగా ఉంటుందంటే పూర్వకాలంలో అంటే ఎప్పుడైతే కంప్యూటర్ని తయారు చేసినారో అప్పటి నుంచి ఇప్పటివరకు మన ఒక కంప్యూటర్లో ఒకే ఆపరేటింగ్ సిస్టమ్ ఇన్స్టాల్ చేసేవాళ్ళం. అలా కాకుండా మల్టిపుల్ ఆపరేటింగ్ సిస్టమ్ ఇన్స్టాల్ చేయొచ్చు అని ఈ వర్చువలైజేషన్ టెక్నాలజీ చెప్పింది. ఈ వర్చువలైజేషన్ టెక్నాలజీని మనం బిల్డ్ చేయాలి అంటే ఒక హైపర్వైజర్ అనే సాఫ్ట్వేర్ని ఎక్స్ట్రాగా ఇన్స్టాల్ చేయాలి. అలా ఇన్స్టాల్ చేస్తే మల్టిపుల్ ఆపరేటింగ్ సిస్టమ్ని మనము ఇన్స్టాల్ చేసేదానికి పాసిబుల్ అవుతుంది. నెక్స్ట్, ఈ హైపర్వైజర్ సాఫ్ట్వేర్స్ని 2 రకాలుగా తయారు చేసినారు. టైప్ 1 అని, టైప్ 2 అనేసి 2 రకాలుగా తయారు చేసినారు. టైప్ 1 అంటే ఏంటి అంటే ఒక హార్డ్వేర్ని తీసుకుని, ఒక ఫిజికల్ కంప్యూటర్ని తీసుకుని డైరెక్ట్గా దాని మీద ఈ హైపర్వైజర్ టైప్ 1ని ఇన్స్టాల్ చేయొచ్చు. మార్కెట్లో చాలా ప్రోడక్ట్లు ఉన్నాయి. వాటిలో మంచి ప్రోడక్ట్లు ఏంటి అంటే ESXi, నైట్రో, జెన్. ఈ హైపర్వైజర్సే ఎక్కువ వాడుతున్నది. సో దీని మీద మనం వర్చువల్ మిషన్స్ని క్రియేట్ చేయొచ్చు. ప్రతి ఒక్క దాన్ని మనం వర్చువల్ కంప్యూటర్ని కానీ, సాఫ్ట్వేర్ కంప్యూటర్ని కానీ మనం పిలవచ్చు. దీంట్లో ఏముంటుందంటే ఒక గెస్ట్ ఆపరేటింగ్ సిస్టమ్ ఉంటుంది. గెస్ట్ ఆపరేటింగ్ సిస్టమ్ అంటే ఏం లేదు, ఏదర్ విండోస్ కానీ, లైనక్స్ కానీ, మ్యాక్ కానీ మీ ప్రాజెక్ట్కి ఏదైతే అవసరం ఉంటుందో ఆపరేటింగ్ సిస్టమ్ ఇన్స్టాల్ చేసుకునేసి అప్లికేషన్కి సంబంధించిన బైనరీ ఫైల్స్ని ఇన్స్టాల్ చేసుకుని అప్లికేషన్స్ని రన్ చేస్తాం. బైనరీ ఫైల్స్ అంటే ఏదో కాదు, సపోర్టింగ్ సంబంధించిన ఫైల్స్, అప్లికేషన్స్ రన్ అవ్వడానికి కావాల్సిన బైనరీ ఫైల్స్. సపోజ్ ఈ అప్లికేషన్ నేను జావాలో నేను తయారు చేశాను అనుకోండి, జావాకి సంబంధించిన బైనరీ ఫైల్స్ని, లైబ్రరీ ఫైల్స్ని ఇన్స్టాల్ చేస్తాను. అదే .NETకి సంబంధించిన అప్లికేషన్ క్రియేట్ చేశాను అనుకోండి, .NETకి సంబంధించిన బైనరీ ఫైల్స్ని, లైబ్రరీ ఫైల్స్ని ఇన్స్టాల్ చేస్తాను. అంటే ఇది సపోర్టింగ్ ఫైల్స్, ఇది లేకపోతే ఇది లేదు. టైప్ 2 వర్చువలైజేషన్స్కి వస్తే ఇక్కడ హార్డ్వేర్ ఉంటుంది. హార్డ్వేర్ మీద మినిమం ఏదో ఒక ఆపరేటింగ్ సిస్టమ్ ఇన్స్టాల్ చేయాలి. ఇప్పుడు విండోస్ 10 కానీ, విండోస్ 11 కానీ, ఏదో ఒక ఆపరేటింగ్ సిస్టమ్, లైనక్స్ కానీ ఏదో ఒకటి ఇన్స్టాల్ చేసుకోవాలి. దాని మీద మనము హైపర్వైజర్ ఇన్స్టాల్ చేసుకోవాల్సి ఉంటుంది. సో ఇక్కడ మీకు బెనిఫిట్ ఏంటంటే హోస్ట్ ఓఎస్ని వాడుకోవచ్చు, నార్మల్గా కంప్యూటర్ లాగా వాడుకోవచ్చు. ఇంకా హైపర్వైజర్ ఇన్స్టాల్ చేస్తాం కాబట్టి వర్చువల్ మిషన్స్ని కూడా క్రియేట్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. ఇక్కడ ఏదైతే హైపర్వైజర్లో వర్చువల్ మిషన్స్ క్రియేట్ చేసామో టైప్ 1లో, టైప్ 2లో కూడా ఇదే బెనిఫిట్ ఉంటుంది. గెస్ట్ ఓఎస్ ఇన్స్టాల్ చేయొచ్చు, బైనరీస్ ఇన్స్టాల్ చేసుకుని అప్లికేషన్స్ని రన్ చేయొచ్చు. డిఫరెన్స్ ఏంటి అంటే ఇక్కడ లేయర్స్ ఎక్కువైంది టైప్ 2లో, ఇక్కడ లేయర్స్ తక్కువ ఉంది. అంటే లేయర్స్ తక్కువ ఉండడం వల్ల ఈ గెస్ట్ ఆపరేటింగ్ సిస్టమ్ ఫిజికల్ హార్డ్వేర్ నుంచి ర్యామ్ని సిపియుని తీసుకోవడానికి చాలా తక్కువ టైం తీసుకుంటుంది, చాలా తక్కువ దూరం ప్రయాణం చేయాల్సి వస్తుంది. ఇక్కడ ఏమవుతుందంటే ఇక్కడ 2 లేయర్‌ని దాటాల్సి ఉంటుంది. అంటే గెస్ట్ ఓఎస్ నుంచి హైపర్వైజర్ నుంచి హోస్ట్ ఓఎస్ నుంచి ఇన్‌ఫ్రాస్ట్రక్చర్, అంటే 2 లేయర్స్ ఎక్స్ట్రా వచ్చింది. ఈ 2 లేయర్స్‌ని దాటడానికి చాలా దూరం ప్రయాణించాల్సి ఉంటుంది. దీన్ని నెట్వర్క్ కమ్యూనికేషన్ పాత్ అంటాము. ఆ నెట్వర్క్ కమ్యూనికేషన్ పాత్‌లో ఇది 2 లేయర్స్‌ని, అంటే 2 హంప్స్ ఉంటుంది. ఆ 2 హంప్స్‌ని దాటడానికి చాలా ఎక్కువ టైమింగ్ అనేది తీసుకుంటుంది. చాలా ఎక్కువ టైంని తీసుకుంటుంది. అర్జెంటా? బ్యాక్. సో ఇక్కడ మనకేమవుతుందంటే ఈ 2 ప్రొడక్ట్‌లు కూడా మనకి మార్కెట్‌లో యూజ్ చేస్తారు. ఎక్కువ యూజ్ చేసేది టైప్ 1. ఇప్పుడు మనము అమెజాన్ వెబ్ సర్వీసెస్‌లో వాడేది కూడా టైప్ 1కి సంబంధించింది వాడతారు. మైక్రోసాఫ్ట్ అజ్యూర్‌లో కూడా టైప్ 1 గురించే వాడతారు. గూగుల్ క్లౌడ్‌లో కూడా టైప్ 1 వాడతారు. సో ఇక్కడ ప్రస్తుతానికి అమెజాన్ గురించి మాట్లాడుకుంటే అమెజాన్ వెబ్ సర్వీసెస్‌లో ఇక్కడ నైట్రో హైపర్వైజర్ వాడతారు. అదేవిధంగా జెన్ హైపర్వైజర్ కూడా వాడతారు. అంటే ఒక్కొక్కరు ఒక విధంగా వాడతారు. ఇది వర్చువలైజేషన్‌కి సంబంధించిన కాన్సెప్ట్. సపోజ్ మనము కంటైనరైజేషన్‌కొస్తే, సేమ్ కంటైనరైజేషన్ కూడా వర్చువలైజేషన్ టెక్నాలజీకి సంబంధించిన మోడల్ లాగానే ఉంటుంది. కానీ కొద్దిగా డిఫరెన్స్ ఉంటుంది. ఫిజికల్ సర్వర్ మీద ఒక హోస్ట్ ఓఎస్‌ని ఇన్‌స్టాల్ చేసుకుంటాము. ఏదో ఒక ఆపరేటింగ్ సిస్టము. ఇది ఫిజికల్ మెషిన్ అయ్యుండొచ్చు, వర్చువల్ మెషిన్ అయి కూడా ఉండొచ్చు. ప్రాబ్లమ్ లేదు. మనం ఇప్పుడు వాడేదంతా కూడా వర్చువల్ మెషిన్ మీదనే వాడతాం. నార్మల్‌గా వర్చువల్ మెషిన్ మీద మళ్ళా వర్చువల్ మెషిన్స్ క్రియేట్ చేయలేం కదా! చెయ్యొచ్చు. దాన్ని నెస్టెడ్ వర్చువలైజేషన్ అంటాము. కానీ అది పర్ఫెక్ట్ కాదు. అందుకని డాకర్ లేదా కంటైనరైజేషన్ అనే టెక్నాలజీని తీసుకొచ్చారు. ఇక్కడేమవుతుందంటే ఆపరేటింగ్ సిస్టమ్ లేకుండా డైరెక్ట్‌గా బైనరీ ఫైల్స్‌ని, అప్లికేషన్స్‌ని రన్ చేయొచ్చు. కానీ దీనికోసము ఈ వర్చువల్ మెషిన్ కానీ లేదా ఫిజికల్ మెషిన్‌లో ఒక హోస్ట్ ఆపరేటింగ్ సిస్టమ్ మీద డాకర్ ఇంజిన్ అనే సాఫ్ట్‌వేర్‌ని ఇన్‌స్టాల్ చేస్తాం. ఈ డాకర్ ఇంజిన్ ఎలా ఇన్‌స్టాల్ చేయాలనేది నేను రేపు చూపిస్తాను మీకు. ఈ డాకర్ ఇంజిన్ చేసిన తర్వాత మనము కంటైనర్స్‌ని క్రియేట్ చేయొచ్చు. ఇక్కడైతే వర్చువల్ మెషిన్స్‌ని క్రియేట్ చేస్తామో, వర్చువలైజేషన్ టెక్నాలజీలో ఇక్కడ కంటైనర్స్‌ని క్రియేట్ చేస్తాం. అదే డిఫరెన్స్. ఈ కంటైనర్ ఏమవుతుందంటే వితౌట్ ఆపరేటింగ్ సిస్టమ్‌తో రన్ అవుతుంది. అసలు ఆపరేటింగ్ సిస్టమ్‌లో ఇక్కడ కంటైనర్ ఎలా రన్ అవుతుంది? కానీ యాక్చువల్‌గా ఏమవుతుందంటే ఈ హోస్ట్ ఆపరేటింగ్ సిస్టమ్ యొక్క కెర్నల్‌ని యుటిలైజ్ చేసుకుంటుంది. ఇక్కడ ఆల్రెడీ మనం రాయాలా? నేను రాయట్లేదు. కెర్నల్‌ని యుటిలైజ్ చేసుకుంటుంది. కెర్నల్ అంటే ఏం లేదు, హార్ట్ ఆఫ్ ద ఆపరేటింగ్ సిస్టమ్. దాని మీద మనకేమవుతుందంటే బైనరీ ఫైల్స్, అప్లికేషన్స్ రన్ అవుతుంది. సో, ఇక్కడ ఇదొక కంటైనర్ లైక్. సో, కంటైనర్‌లో రన్ అవుతున్న అప్లికేషన్స్‌ని ఏమంటామంటే ఇమేజ్ అంటాం. కంటైనర్‌లో రన్ అవుతున్న ఆపరేటింగ్ సిస్టమ్‌ని ఏమంటామంటే ఇమేజ్ అంటాము. దాన్ని డాకర్ ఇమేజెస్ అంటారు. ఓకే. అలాగా ఈ డాకర్ ఇన్‌ఫ్రాస్ట్రక్చర్ మొత్తాన్ని మనము ఏ టెక్నాలజీతో పిలుచుకుంటామంటే కంటైనరైజేషన్ అనే టెక్నాలజీతో పిలుచుకుంటాం. సో, ఇలాంటి డాకర్ కంటైనరైజేషన్స్ హోస్ట్‌లు ఎక్కువైనప్పుడు మేనేజ్ చేయడం చాలా కష్టమవుతుంది. అందుకని మనము క్యూబర్నెటిస్ అనే ఒక ఆర్కెస్ట్రేషన్ సర్వీస్‌ని తీసుకుంటాం. ఇది గూగుల్‌కి సంబంధించిన ఒక సర్వీస్. ఓపెన్ సోర్స్. ఎవరైనా తీసుకొని ఎవరైనా మాడిఫై చేసుకోవచ్చు. దీంట్లో క్లస్టర్ క్రియేట్ చేసినప్పుడు మల్టిపుల్ డాకర్ ఇంజిన్స్‌ని క్రియేట్ చేసి దాని మీద డాకర్స్‌ని, ఓకే, దాని మీద కంటైనర్స్‌ని రన్ చేయొచ్చు. సో, దీనికోసం మనము క్యూబర్నెటిస్ అనే సర్వీస్‌ని వాడతాం. ఇది చాలా హై లెవెల్ సర్వీసెస్. సో, ఇక్కడ ఈ ఎన్విరాన్మెంట్ మొత్తాన్ని మనము డాకర్‌లో ఆటోమేషన్ అనే ఒక ప్రాసెస్ ద్వారా, మానిఫెస్ట్ ఫైల్ అనే ఒక ప్రాసెస్ ద్వారా మనము ఈ కంప్లీట్ ఎన్విరాన్మెంట్ మొత్తాన్ని మనం స్క్రిప్ట్ ద్వారా క్రియేట్ జేయొచ్చు. స్క్రిప్ట్ ద్వారా క్రియేట్ చేయొచ్చు. కొందరికి తెలుసు ఈ బ్యాచ్‌లో ఎలా చేయడం అనేది, నా ఓల్డ్ స్టూడెంట్స్‌కి. కొత్త స్టూడెంట్స్‌కి ప్రాబ్లమ్ లేదు. నేను నేర్పిస్తాను మళ్ళా. ఓకే. క్లియర్? సో, ఇది టోటల్‌గా మనకిలాగుంటుంది. సో ఈ పర్టికులర్ అప్లికేషన్స్ ని కనెక్ట్ అవడానికి ఒక లోడ్ బ్యాలెన్సర్ అనే ఒక యూఆర్ఎల్ తీసుకొస్తారు. దీన్ని జంక్షన్ అంటారు. ఈ జంక్షన్ నుంచి యూజర్స్ అనేది కనెక్ట్ అవుతారు. ఎవరైనా కూడా మనకు కనెక్ట్ అయినప్పుడు ఏమవుతుందంటే ఇది ఏ సర్వర్కి వెళ్ళాలో అదే డిసైడ్ చేస్తుంది. లోడ్ అనేది ఏ సర్వర్ మీదకి డివైడ్ చేయాలో అది డివైడ్ చేస్తుంది. ఆ సర్వర్ నుంచి అప్లికేషన్ అనేది కనెక్ట్ అవుతుంది. ఇప్పుడు సపోజ్ మనము జొమాటో అనే అప్లికేషన్ ఈ 6 డాకర్ కంటైనర్ల మీద ఇన్స్టాల్ చేసినాం అనుకుందాం. ఈ 6 సర్వర్లు పనిచేస్తాయి. ఒకవేళ సర్వర్ 1, సర్వర్ 2 పనిచేయలేదు అనుకో, సర్వర్ 3, సర్వర్ 4, సర్వర్ 5, 6 ఏదో ఒకటి రెస్పాండ్ చేస్తుంది మనకి ఇక్కడ. ఓకే, రెస్పాండ్ చేయకుండా ఉండదు. అవన్నీ కూడా ఇవి ఒక రిడెండెన్సీ. రిడెండెన్సీ అంటే తెలుగులో మీనింగ్ తెలియదండి, సారీ. ఓకే, సో ఎవరైనా చెప్పండి, తెలుగులో మీనింగ్ తెలిసే చెప్పండి. బదులుగా అంటాం కదండి. సో ఇప్పుడు నేను రావట్లేదు ఈరోజు, సార్ నా బదులుగా ఎవరైనా పంపిస్తాను కదా వర్క్ చేయడానికి. అలాగా ఇక్కడ ఎవరైతే పని చేస్తున్నారో వీళ్ళు ఎప్పుడైనా ఫెయిల్ అయినప్పుడు వాళ్ళ బదులుగా ఇంకో సర్వర్లు కొత్తగా క్రియేట్ అయ్యి పనిచేస్తుంది అనమాట. ఉన్న వాళ్ళు ఎక్కువ లోడ్ తీసుకోవచ్చు, లేకపోతే కొత్త సర్వర్లు కూడా అడిషనల్ గా క్రియేట్ చేసి లోడ్ ని బ్యాలెన్స్ చేయొచ్చు. అది జరుగుతుంది. సో ఇవన్నీ కూడా ఆటోమేటిక్ గా జరిగిపోతుంది. ఇవన్నీ ఆటోమేటిక్ గా చేయడానికి అదేం డైరెక్ట్ గా రాదు, మనమే కాన్ఫిగర్ చేయాలి. స్టెప్ బై స్టెప్ మనమే కాన్ఫిగర్ చేయాల్సి ఉంటుంది. సో I hope you understand whatever I'm explaining to you. ఇంకా అర్థం కాని వాళ్ళు ఎవరైనా ఉన్నారా?
రాజేష్, ఒక డౌట్ రాజేష్.
ఎస్,
ఇప్పుడు రెసిడెన్సీ అనే ఆప్షన్ మనము సెలెక్ట్ చేసుకుంటామా, లేకపోతే అది
మనం
ఆటోమేటిక్ గా
కాన్ఫిగర్ చేస్తాం. మనకు
ఓకే.
ఆప్షన్స్ ఏముండదు, మనం కాన్ఫిగర్ చేస్తాం. ఆ ఇన్ఫ్రాస్ట్రక్చర్ మనం కాన్ఫిగర్ చేస్తాం.
ఓకే.
ఓకేనా?
రాజేష్, ఇప్పుడు డాకర్ లో కూడా మనకు లోడ్ బ్యాలెన్సర్లు అన్నీ వస్తాయి అనమాట కదా?
కంపల్సరీ
లోడ్ బ్యాలెన్సెస్, రిప్లికేషన్స్, రెడెంట్స్ అన్నీ వస్తాయి అనమాట మళ్ళీ.
అన్నీ వస్తాయి,
ఓకే.
అన్నీ వస్తాయి. So thank you all. So let me stop the record.